Despite a warning from the commander of Task Force Helmand that the Taliban may be planning spectacular and high-profile attacks targeting ISAF and Afghan troops, British forces in some parts of Helmand have found the situation on the ground to be remarkably benign. In Nad-e Ali South, 4-5 Commando were preparing for a difficult fighting season, but it seems so much has changed in the area. Insurgent activity has dramatically fallen. Carla Prater reports.
Patrolling from PB Samsor, Yankee Company 4-5 Commando are on their way to Kushal Kalay in Nad-e Ali. This is the heart of the Green Zone, a rural farming community of small villages, an area that's starting to experience peace for the first time in years. Last summer, insurgents were operating here, but they've been forced to move on. There have only been 4 attacks in the past 4 months.
Yeah, we were prepared for success, but we didn't expect it to be this successful at this point, and I don't want to jinx it. We're still in a position where a fighting season could emerge, but we're doing our very best, along with our Afghan partners, to prevent a fighting season from taking place, and at the moment things are looking good. They're struggling to get in and start any meaningful fight.
Part of the success here has been put down to the efforts of previous tours. One Royal Irish were here over the winter and drove out many of the insurgents from the area. They captured more than 120 during their tour, and the battle group here are working hard to maintain that. Some of the company fought here on Herrick 9, and they've been able to see the transformation and compare how it is now to what it was like then.
You didn't see too many people out. Obviously they stayed in their compounds. Obviously the insurgents were out and about, so plenty of fighting. This time we've arrived and there's kids running everywhere. All the locals are in the field getting on with their jobs. It actually feels like you're making a difference, and that it has been worthwhile.
As well as success driving out insurgents, security has also improved. There are more checkpoints and the Afghan forces have expanded. This Afghan local police station at CP Mangul only opened at the start of Herrick 14. You could say it's one of the many signs of progress in this area. Last year there were insurgents operating nearby. Now they've been pushed much further back, so much so that insurgent activity is down more than 80% on last year. But it's not to say the insurgents have disappeared altogether. They still make attacks on the edge of the AO. The Marines here are still finding IEDs, and further south, X-Ray Company are facing more resistance. But for those at Samsor who prepared for far worse, it's been much quieter than they were expecting.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a lot more kinetic, but it seems to be quite quiet out here, so it's all right.
So most of the patrols are just more like reassurance patrols and planning patrols rather than fighting patrols. Most of the locals are all right. They're quite friendly and quite on side.
For this part of Helmand, this could be a turning point, but there's no room for complacency. It's clear efforts at stabilising the area have had success, but everyone knows it's going to take a lot more hard work to ensure it stays that way. Carla Prater, Forces News, Nad-e Ali.